My question goes to Your Excellency Kagame. When we hear the term transformative leadership, you are one of the names that would come up to many people's minds. Was there a defining moment or experience that shaped your leadership or philosophy? Murakoze.
Every moment had impact on me, and at a personal level, I think one has to make a choice. There are lots of lessons in difficult times. There should be lessons in good times too, meaning just don't pass the day and the year like that. Take something from it and associate it with a purpose, meaning a purpose of your life. But at the same time, put it in the context of other people's lives, because nobody lives alone without having impact coming from others. And that's how the idea in anybody's mind probably would be formed to start saying, what do I do? And it increases, the ability increases with the age. Of course, when you're very young, this hasn't formed up yet. So that's really how I was impacted. But I was impacted personally, but the environment, the context, and circumstances I grew up in with others. That's how the other young people like me at the time, as we were growing up, came together and tried to find ways of fighting back on these challenges and finding our way. Even if you are not sure what is going to be the outcome, the effort is worth the while. You need to put in the effort, and then you live 1 year at a time.
Yes, definitely.
Sometimes you can live 5 at a time if you have a chance. So there are things that depend on people, on individuals. There are things that depend on the context and circumstances people live in. But the person matters, and how you respond to the challenges you meet on an everyday basis. Whether you give up, whether you fight or flee, or, it shapes everything. Yeah, that's as much as I can give you today.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Desalegn, in your own journey as a transformative leader, what part of leadership have you found most unexpectedly difficult? Thank you.
Let me say, my difficult moments were how to lead the elites in the party. That I say because, we do have a problem. Our farmers do not have much a problem. And our informal sector actors, they are not so much a problem. Mainly our problem in Africa, and specifically in my own case, comes from the elite. There is a struggle between selfless leadership and commitment and elite capture. So I think that struggle, sometimes it's daunting and very daunting challenge. And if you win, you progress. If you don't, then you take the country back. So I think this was one of the daunting challenges. It is also related to, in Africa, as you said, we are a very diverse continent. And even within each African country, you do have ethnicity, religion, the age diversity, the gender issues, everything has its own meaning. And especially in my own country, which I always tell to other African countries, I mean, of course, Rwanda also knows it very well, to take seriously the ethnic aspect of the politicization and mobilization. This is very dangerous. And it ended up, in war and fightings and all those things. And I think that was one of the basic things. The second one is standing still, becoming prisoner of the past. Some people, they are not flexible. The world is changing very fast. It's very dynamic, and you need to adapt to those kind of situations. But nonetheless, leaders become stagnant somewhere. And when they stand still, things doesn't move. And that happened in my case. Most of the leaders I worked with were with a communist background. And they continue to be communists while the globe has changed. And that was a daunting challenge, because it's an ideological issue and it's not easy to scrap from their minds. And I think when we talk about mindset, attitude, and all those things that need to be necessary for a transformative leader, we need to think about the ideology that underpins what we are doing. And so I think that are the two major challenges I encountered. I can enumerate many, but the outstanding ones are, I might say, these ones.
Thank you very much for being honest and sharing your most difficult moments with us.
My question is for President Kagame. Your Excellency, we, the young people, think about many things about the future. Employment, peace and security, natural resource management, so much more. My question is, what is that one pressing issue in Africa that keeps you awake at night? Thank you.
Unfortunately, it is not just one. There are so many. But it's difficult. As I said earlier, you keep asking yourself. Now, let me start by saying, as young people growing up, and you said you ask yourselves many questions. And in fact, that's where it starts from. It's good to be asking yourself those questions. But keep also interrogating yourself and saying, if I were the one with the responsibility, if I were president, like you said, some of them want to be president, it's not a bad thing, but you have to be prepared to do the right thing. So then you interrogate yourself and say, if I were the one, how would I go about solving that problem? Don't just complain. Don't just criticize. Go beyond that, and in you, have a discussion with yourself and say, well, but if I were the one responsible, in charge, I would do this about this problem. So the most challenging situation for me, as you asked me, is to say, what problems do my people have? What do we have to address? Before you go to the rest of the continent, I mean, I start with my own situation. And anyway, some of the situations here are similar to what happens in the rest of the continent. So the whole night I'm asking myself, how do we overcome these, some of them existential challenges? How do we, and it's not just about me also thinking I can be the one to address it. It's also about saying, how do we bring Rwandans to understand that each one of them has something to contribute to addressing Rwanda's problems, their own problems. But of course, the bigger challenge is with me, if I'm their leader, to be saying, yes, for the failures of the rest not thinking about what their responsibility and contribution to this is, they also, for them, they have a right to turn around and blame me for everything. So I'm primarily trying to make sure that we find a way of addressing the challenges we have. Poverty, well, you know, our history of division, and security, and so on and so forth. I can't, an individual, it doesn't matter how good you are, you cannot deliver on them without making everyone else contribute to that and understanding what the problem is and what can be done to address it. So that is my challenge every day. Thinking, how do we, there are many problems, but how do we get together to make an impact on the outcomes we want to be as good as we want them? It's a general thing. It's not just one particular problem we think about. Think about poverty alone, then there is security here, then there is divisive politics there, then there is dealing with the rest of the world, which is another problem of its own. You see, like in this country, Rwanda, with our history and so on and so forth, Rwanda is a small country. It's 14 million people, very small, geographically, very densely populated. But the amount of scrutiny and attention and actually injustice even brought to us by the rest of the world is incredible. So we have to deal with that as well. These big challenges of our own we have, then we have another big problem of how the rest of the world, the big power, whom you would even think they should have no time to think about us. They should just be ignoring us as, but they really pay attention. And they pay attention for the wrong reasons. Because they want to dictate whether if you're going to walk, you start with your right foot or the left foot. If you're going to have your dinner, what food do you eat? And if you are going to choose leaders, they have their own list of leaders they want to see there. It's something we live with every day. It's a big challenge. So, my friend, the challenges are so many, but you are welcome to think about and aspire to be the president or prime minister, so that I'm not alone or prime minister is not alone in facing these global challenges.
And what do you expect from us as the next generation of African leaders? Thank you.
Yeah, I think the expectation when you finish this course in African School of Governance, I expect you to be self-aware. I mean, understand your core values and see that you can be a selfless leader. And our aim is to see this is my turn to eat from this is my turn to eat to this is my turn to sacrifice. I think this is it. You know, oftentimes when I travel to some African countries, even the population is saying, you know, this is their turn to eat. I think this mindset has to change. As leaders, we are here to sacrifice and pass through daunting challenges. When the president was saying, I was looking into, when you know that you are the ultimate person which gives the final decision on millions of people's life, that is a very difficult task. And that calls for, you know, somebody who has a clear direction, purpose, who understood his own calling properly, who has searched his soul properly. So I think the school is here to help you to search, but it's you who should be doing that. The school cannot do that. So I think the individuals are the ones who should know it. You should be compassionate. I think it's not just power and authority which matters. It is empowering others to unleash their full potential to deliver on the cause is much more important. So I think I expect from this cohort, as the first cohort, I'm proud of you because you have chosen ASG, but ultimately it's the beginning of a long journey where you will be also part of that journey. And I want to see at the end that we have selfless leaders who are committed to serve as a servant leaders, their own people.
What do we expect of whether first cohort or any others that will come of the young people? Simply, let me treat it in reverse. When you are there, young people, what is your expectation about us? What is it? What do you want us to do vis-a-vis where you want to go or your needs? So by flipping it, you start wondering, I mean, put yourself in our positions and then start imagining that you will be the one addressing those problems. So you already have framed what we want of or from you. Yes, it's that responsibility, it's that journey you have traveled to be like leaders you are talking to, in a sense, or addressing the challenges they face in their responsibilities. So put yourself in that, always in that position, even when you are here. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what cohort. It's what are you here for? What is the purpose? And therefore, how do you translate? You are not here to just earn a degree or a second degree. There are many people who study, get as many degrees as they can. It's a good thing in itself. But at the same time, there is a much bigger thing, and even better is if you can use this knowledge you have acquired and then deal exactly with the same problems that and challenges we are talking about of individual countries or the continent or other global challenges. How you immerse yourself in making your contribution and having an impact on the process of dealing with the challenges is what we expect from you and the cohorts of different generations.